I'm going to get straight to it here. I got a new speedometer ring, came in the mail today. I don't know if this camera's focusing in on the right spot, but this is it here. I should probably mention that the speedometer ring has somewhat of a taper to it. You can see it's a little thinner here than it is here. So the thinner side is actually supposed to be lined up on the bottom down here. So again, you just push it in as best you can and then bend the tabs. Hopefully I don't break it this time because that would really suck. And another tab there, another tab there, and that's it. That's all there is to that. Next for me, I'm gonna do my grills here. See if I can get that. There we go. So these are painted to match the car, of course, so I got to be very careful not to scratch these. Earlier on, I had already cut the slits, made them a little bit bigger to ensure that these tabs that I straightened out as best I could will fit through. Now again, I'm hoping they don't break, because what I'm going to do is push them into the slits, actually I should do the bottom first so that this doesn't slide down on me. There, so I got the screen and the cover in there, so I don't want it to slide down. So there's one in, there's two, there's three. So again, I'm gonna push and try to get this through the holes. There, that feels like it's in for now. So I'm gonna try, I'll go into the trunk. As I'm pulling with the needle nose pliers on the inside of the trunk, pulling towards the trunk of course, I'll pull in and twist. I've got my speaker in now. I'm going to try and press this grill in. With this one, I've got the little screen in here. So for this one, I'm going to do the lower tab again. I've got this lower tab bent out towards the door because it's a little bit off. I'm going to push that corner in first and then work my way around. Trying to hold the screen in at the same time. There's one. I got to work this bottom here. Okay, not much to see, but I figured now that I have this grill in, I had to remove it, replace it a few times, and make these little slots inside here a little bigger to line everything up, but it looks really good. But what I'll do is I'm going to reach through and twist the tabs. And again, I'm just using needle nose pliers to do that. This is tricky. So there you go. Just a little twist. That's it. When I pulled the speedometer out initially, you may or may not remember I said I didn't have to twist it for some reason. The reason being, I ended up pulling the screws completely out, and I didn't need to do that. I have my wires that I need to reconnect. I'm glad I didn't forget. And what I can do, what I was supposed to do was leave these screws actually in, just slightly loose. But I didn't. I pulled them completely out, so that's the reason I didn't have to twist the speedometer off. So I'm going to put these in just finger tight, but it'll hold the wire in place. Here's my other wire that I had marked, and let's get that in the hole. So as you can see, the notches in the speedometer here, the mounts, so it's a sort of a twist on kind of thing. So I'm going to bring this around and make sure that the wires are on the top side of each mount. There we go. And I'm going to quickly check inside the car, make sure it looks all right. So now, just going to simply tighten. I'll do a couple turns on this side, a couple turns on this side, a couple turns, back and forth. That one feels snug there. I've double checked all my wiring, nothing's missing. My plugs are still in, all my wires are intact, in place, no problems. So now I just have to hook up my speedometer cable and twist that on. That's all there is to that. I got this heater, this vent line here to hook up, which I believe ran under here. I'm gonna have to really give my car a good cleaning here after I'm done all this. There's mud everywhere, but this vent is gonna be connected into this one here that goes through the dash pad. So I have to open the door. And what I'm gonna do is sort of get it in place. Maybe I should have put that in before the speedometer, it looks like. So I've removed the speedometer again, and yeah, first things first, I guess we got to put this on, because there isn't enough room to do it when the speedometer's in place. So again, I'm going to loosely put it in here, and I might be able to just push it on. There we go. Okay, I'm back to where I was. I'll continue on with some of the ducting here. So this piece here goes on there. That's complete. Same as the other side. Everything tucked down below here, so we're gonna put that in where it belongs up here. There's that. Here. There we go. All right. The next part for me, you may or may not have to do the same thing, but I've double checked all my wiring and everything, even though it looks like shit. Everything's connected. It's a matter of putting my stereo in. I may cut in and out. Like, I probably won't show too much of this part, but sliding it in, screw the strap onto the mount here where it was, right here where it was before, and yeah, and then work the faceplate. Oh, I should have plugged this in before I put the stereo there, but fuse is still good. Okay. Alright, that's it for the back side. Won't lie, getting pretty excited and pretty happy with how everything's turning out right now. So fingers crossed this continues on. This was incredibly easy compared to everything else I've had to deal with. So hopefully I trim this good enough that it stays in. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay. Face plate. Oops, I forgot to take the little nuts off. Sorry about that. In my excitement, I forgot to turn the camera back on. You didn't miss anything. All I did was spin those little nuts off. And just gonna put them back on now and tighten this guy up. And once that's complete, I can press the knobs back on. Now I'm on to pressing the knobs back on. The one thing I'm going to do before I put the airbox back together and button up all the trunk stuff, I'm going to connect my battery and make sure that all the electrical works, like my lights, wipers, hazards, horn. Like, I want to make sure everything is still functional. The lights inside the speedometer, all that stuff, and of course the stereo, just to make sure everything's good. Once that's done, I'll leave the battery connected, I suppose. There's no real point in not leaving it, but then I'll go ahead and button up all the stuff in the trunk. But for now, just want to get the stereo done and give it a test. Some of the folks with a super keen eye probably notice this ball here. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that. Stereo, which is important to me. Obviously I got to set that time. That's not the correct time. It's not even close. Thank God that works. So people are, well, some people maybe are wondering what this ball bearing is for. It's something I found while I was looking for some other stuff, but it's a Steely Night Eyes. It's a mount, which is pretty awesome because I just made this little thing. It's just a magnet, and here's the iPod I use, iPod Touch, and it's a super strong magnet. You can manipulate this thing and move it at any angle you want. So I thought this is pretty cool for in here. So how I set this one up, the ashtray, obviously I just pull it out a little bit, slide this little thing I made in there, close the ashtray on it, holds it in good and steady enough anyway. And this runs on an auxiliary cord through the Retrosound stereo. So let's see. It's the first time ever doing it here, so I'll just put it on here for a second. And that's not too bad right there. So it's pretty stable. Apparently it'll do bumps and everything else. Like, I'm hitting it pretty hard here, and it's pretty good. So anyway, it's supposed to be pretty stable, so I'm happy with that. So I've got auxiliary on, so let's fire this thing up. Okay, fire up Spotify. Ty Segall we'll go with. Never enough Ty Segall. Okay, that's it. Essentially, we're going to do the reverse what we did, pulling it out, and we're going to slide it up and in behind here. This ductwork may end up being in my way a little bit, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Probably a better way to do this part, but you get the idea. You gotta get it up in here. We'll get the screw in first. Let's get it in and set it in loose so you can move it around. There we go. Okay, now we got it. This is done down here. So that's done, drains in. Ductwork is all connected. We're good on both sides. Tighten the screws down. Last one. Put this cover on. I'm doing it from the opposite side that I normally work here, but go. Oops. That'll help. There we go. Carpet back. Holy crap, I can't believe we're done. That was a job that I've been wanting to do for so long. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, the car is filthy. I'll have to maybe take it outside tomorrow and see what it looks like in the sunshine, if it's going to be sunny out. But damn, it looks good. Looks really, really good. Really good. Super happy how it turned out. Yeah. Ridiculously happy. That was a cold start. So the car runs good. I forgot to check the horn last night, so that's good. Well, I just took her out for a good run, and yeah, car ran great. Well, it didn't for a little bit. It's been a little while since I drove it, so yeah, I wasn't happy for a little bit, sputtering and stuff, but anyway, again, super, despite the trouble I had in this corner here, there's the flaw, but like I said, you got to be looking down at it. If you're in the car, you don't see it. Yeah, so glad I did this. Despite the trouble I had in the corner, totally worth it. Really happy. Finishing up this last video here, I thought I'd just try to sum up really quick. Hopefully I can keep this really quick and short. In the end, ended up being ridiculously happy, if you didn't get that from that last clip. Yeah, super happy with it. The quality of the dash is fantastic, other than that flaw that I ended up having, causing me a bit of trouble. Whatever. My cat is at my feet again. What else can I say? I think some of the trim work around the speedometer, maybe, and a little bit of trim work I had to do around the light switch and maybe the slots that go around where the grills are. That's probably pretty normal to do. Obviously being off quite a bit on those holes underneath the dash, I'm sure that's not typical. And again, had I contacted West Coast Metric obviously before I cut it, they probably would have taken it back. However, I kept it, pushed through, got it working. I'll probably revisit that corner later on, but I have other work that I want to get done. As I say, right now I'm really happy with how it's turned out, so I don't really care.
about the dash. It's closed, it's nice when it's shut, so I got to use my 2 hands to open it. I don't care at this point. So now that I've done the pad and I have the limited experience that I have with it now, if I had a brand new dash in a box right now, and I had to absolutely redo this job, granted without the camera, I could, honest to goodness, probably get the job done in probably an hour. If it fit perfect, if I still had to trim around the light, the speedometer, and the other stuff, if I didn't have the corner issues, I could tear this dash out and put the new one in I suspect about that time. So it isn't a difficult job, but if you've never done it before, obviously you want to take your time and you want to make sure that whatever you've taken apart, you remember how it goes back together. Make note of your wiring in case something pops off, that sort of thing. It isn't the most difficult job I've ever done. It was a frustrating job at one point, as you're aware, but it isn't too bad. So I would recommend it if you've been holding off on it just because you're a little bit worried about the sort of task it is. It's not bad. Go for it. And as you saw, the end result, it's great. Super happy. I'm not a YouTuber. All I tried to do was make a video that I wish I had before I started this job. So if it helps anyone out there, I'd love to hear about it. Or if you've done this dash pad before and I really messed something up and you'd like to state that, then go right ahead. I got no problems with that. And hopefully the person who's looking to for some advice on how to get this job done will see your comment. Anyway, hopefully it helps somebody out. Thanks for watching the videos if you watch them all. If not, that's okay too. Yeah, on to other jobs, and maybe I'll film my next ones, but yeah, that's all I got. Cheers, thanks for watching.